It's something very unique that I feel a lot of people expected from CBD, didn't get it. And when they smoke marijuana, they want that, but this is sort of like the in-between that meets everything. Good morning, everybody. It's Luke with Owls. We're back again for episode 4, and today we're going to be answering some questions from some of our people on Instagram, on YouTube. We asked people to say what questions did they have for us, and so we're just going to answer them now. Please make sure to like and subscribe down there. It really helps the channel and just helps to get us out there a little bit more. So let's start off right from the top. First question here was, what brought us into the industry? Well, I feel like it was grown out of a necessity from enjoying cannabis products and just feeling like that the quality that was out there was really not good. We started our cartridges in a time when everyone was doing wick cartridges, and we just felt really dissatisfied. There was a lot of cuts, propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin. So we put our heads together and we came up with a cartridge that didn't use a wick, didn't have any cuts to it, had really thick oil, and had a top airflow as opposed to a bottom airflow, which is causing a lot of leaks. So that was really the main reason that we got into it. What does the company do to stay in connection with our patients and consumers? So this is definitely something we could be a little bit better at. We've sort of ebbed and flowed a little bit with our Instagram. We're going to be developing a newsletter once we get our website up, and just try to be better at communicating with everybody. We're doing our best now to be across multiple platforms. So obviously you're watching this from at home on YouTube. And so YouTube and Instagram are basically our top 2 platforms right now that you can find out what's going on with Owls. We're slowly getting Twitter online, and that just gives you more of the up to day as to what's happening, but that still has to be built a little bit more. And as I said, further down the line, once we have everything set up at the website, we'll hopefully have newsletters go out, and that way it'll keep everybody in the loop. What guarantees do we have on our products? So the best thing now is that because we are able to offer this through our website, through stores, if you're unhappy with the product, if you have a defect with your product, of course we take it back. We want to make sure that all of our consumers are very satisfied with our cartridges and our gummies. And if there's a reason where you're not satisfied, of course you can return those. We want to make sure that each and every cart is working. We understand that sometimes there can be defects across hundreds of thousands of cartridges. So if there is ever an issue, just please bring it back to the store where you bought it, or you can send it back to us and you'll get a full refund or else a replacement. When will the web page be up and running? So basically we need to wait for the packaging to be ready, and so the packaging is really taking its time. We're basically there now on the Owls cartridges packaging. We're just waiting for that to come in. We just got our first look at the artwork, and with the gummies, that's probably going to be at least 4 to 6 weeks out on the packaging side, and for the nano caps, that might be ready in like 3 weeks. So with those, we could definitely launch the website. So I would say I think 6 to 8 weeks would probably be pretty fair on the website. What's the best way to store your products? Well, obviously the first answer to that is make sure that it's out of reach of any minors. All of our packaging does come in childproof packaging, but once you use it, more often than not, you're going to take it out of that childproof packaging. So especially for the gummies, even with the cartridges, just store them in a cool, dark place is typically the best way to keep anything. The sun, is going to affect the cartridge in terms of its color sometimes. If the sun is too much on your gummies, it could obviously melt them. So just making sure they're in a cool, dark place is really the best way to store your products. And in terms of the lifespan, I mean, the gummies will last for up to a year. The cartridges, really depends how fast you can puff on them. So we should probably do something to see like, hey, this is the total amount of puffs. But I mean, I think you're looking at like 400 puffs or something like that for a full mil cartridge. So depends on how much you use it every day, but I would say for a majority of people it would be anywhere from like a week to a month. What's the best way to vape? So again, this really depends on what you're after, right? Some people, they want the big clouds. You're going to be using that at a higher setting, typically like 3.2 to maybe 3.6. Even some people do 4.2 volts. For our cartridges, we prefer to use it on a much lower voltage, anywhere from 2 volts to even 1.8. And the reason for that is that we preserve the flavor. The cart lasts longer because you're not heating it up as much. And so in our opinion, we think that the best way to vape is at a lower temp, at a lower volt, to make it last longer. And then you don't really, for us, we're not really about puffing out big clouds, right? We're all about the flavor. So that's really how we think the best way to vape is. Is there any way of spotting quality cartridges versus the knockoffs? This is a great question. So the very first thing is always buy it from a store, right? You should be buying this from a store. You should be buying this from a website. You should be buying this from a reputable source that has returns. Now, unfortunately, there is a lot of fakes out there. The first way to see it is it's just check as they're cut. You'll get a cartridge, you turn the cartridge upside down, you'll see, does the bubble move? If the bubble's moving, it's cut. Now, if you have something like a sauce cart, maybe that's going to be a little bit different, but I think for majority of people, if you're looking at distillate, if the bubble's moving, that's always a way to know if it's fake. The next question is to look at the label, see what the test results say, and if it doesn't have any test results, just don't even bother. And if it says that it's like anywhere, if it says it's like 95 or 98%, it's probably fake. Because at the end of the day, it's pretty difficult once you add your terpenes and you add your predominantly once you add your terpenes to it. If you're adding, let's say 10% terpenes and your oil is 90%, then that is going to come down to like 82%. So majority of oils are definitely from the I would say in that if you get oils from like 70% to 85, I mean that's pretty good going. Not a lot of carts are in the high 80s to 90s. So that's obviously one thing to look out for. How important is regulation within the industry? I mean, I think we need more regulation than ever before. I think there definitely needs to be regulation for vaping. We've definitely considered trying to start something ourselves where we can police each other, because it just seems that there's no real concrete, this is how to do it safely for vaping. And in terms of what people put in their vapes, it's pretty ambiguous. There's no real law for any of it. So I think more regulation is definitely better for the vaping industry. And the more that we can get organized to sort of police it ourselves, or I don't even say that, but just hold each other accountable to what's in our products. Maybe you've got random testing, I think would definitely be a good idea to see who's real and who's not. Do we ship internationally? Not yet. When we have some of our other hemp products online, we'll definitely be shipping those internationally. We still need to check with the Delta 8 on the legality of that. There is, for instance, technically it's legal in all 50 states, but there is some states that would be questionable. So just a matter of us doing more research. If we have international clients, of course, we would research that and see if it's legal for us to send it to them. What are the advantages of Delta 8? Or for instance, why D8 versus D9? Well, D8 for us is a much better cannabinoid. The main reason is we love to work. I'm dressed like this because I'm working and slaving away nearly every day, and so we want to make sure that if I'm smoking, that I have a clear head during the day. I want to feel relaxed. I don't want to feel cloudy. I think that Delta 8 is something that everybody wants from Delta 9 but doesn't get it, and so I also want to make sure that I can distribute this to as many people as possible. So Delta 8 as it comes from hemp or it comes from CBD, or it can be converted from Delta 9 THC. It provides a much better avenue for people to get access. So that was also another reason for choosing that. And yeah, the main one is just like the clarity of the mind and just the full relaxation. It's something very unique that I feel a lot of people expected from CBD, didn't get it. And when they smoke marijuana, they want that, but this is sort of like the in-between that meets everything. And then the next, last and final question: how do you see your company as a pioneer in canna-related discoveries? Well, talk about that for a question, huh? I mean, look, we're doing our best every day to come up with new processes, to learn new things about terpenes, about different cannabinoids, different conversions. And so we're really doing our best to be at the forefront of having as much knowledge as possible and to be able to learn as much about new technologies as possible, especially with the vape cartridges, and even with stuff to do with like nano encapsulation, making sure the cannabinoids have a better bioavailability when you use them. And yeah, we consider ourselves to be at the forefront of cannabis, really, and just really excited to be a part of the industry. So that's everything for today. I just want to thank all of you for the support we've been getting over the years. Thank you for watching these videos. Please make sure to give it a like, ask some questions or comments below, and we'll make sure to get back to you. Have a nice day.